Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the TG podcast. We're here to go through, of course, the Chelsea result at Stamford Bridge, the 2-2 draw. Talk about Sevilla tomorrow night. Talk about the goalkeeper situation. We're joined by some very special guests as always. Let's introduce them today. We start with, of course, Seb. Welcome back, Seb. Good evening, mate. How you doing? You all good?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, looking forward to the game tomorrow night, but also nervous about it after performances because we kind of need to win that game. We do need to win that game, but we'll get into that later in the podcast.
Yeah, big up, man. We've got Thomas. Big up to you, Thomas, mate. Good to see you again. How you doing?
Great, thank you for having me on. Slightly disappointed after the weekend, but as Seb says, looking forward to tomorrow.
Also, we've got RORY as well. Yes, RORY, you good?
Yeah, other than the fact YouTube and streaming, I'd have been acting like wankers today.
I don't know what's going on today, man.
Yeah, YouTube took 2 of my streams down. It's been horrible, but yeah, I'm good. Other than that,
yeah, they keep taking away my likes. Like, well, do you know when you can see the amount of likes?
Yeah,
I don't get why. It's weird. It's weird. Anyway, guys, big up the chat as always. I'll try and get through as many comments. I'll pin them up on the screen as always. But yeah, let's get started. We'll talk about the game. Obviously, at Stamford Bridge, 2-2 draw. Obviously, before the game, I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't have taken a draw. I wanted to go there. I mean, we see how poor Chelsea are this season. I thought we could have gone there and got all 3 points, but I thought it was an awful performance. I mean, we picked it up towards the end. We played very well towards the end of the match, but I don't know what happened in the start of it. You know, so many players had an off day. But I'll start with RORY for this one. RORY, bro, just give your overall thoughts of what you made of that performance and result and all that, bro.
we caught life. It's as simple as that. Chelsea deserved a victory, if you ask me. This is me being totally honest. I felt like the 2 goals came after the run of play, and ultimately, we have to be playing a lot better than that if we want to get anywhere this season. Because, funnily enough, every London derby we've played have ended 2-2. And performance-wise, we haven't been playing great at all. So we have to improve in that sense. Obviously, we beat, Crystal Palace 1-0. That's the only London derby we've won so far this season. And, we went down to 10 men in that game. So, yeah, I've got to say I'm a little bit disappointed with the way players performed. Players like Raya to Zinchenko, Jorginho, I guess, because, of course, he's one of the most experienced players on the pitch. And, of course, he knows Chelsea very well, doesn't he? So I was expecting him to hopefully run the game. He just didn't. And I don't think it was the right game for him at all anyway. So, look, I will praise the comeback from an Arsenal point of view. It proves that we're willing to fight until the end. But ultimately, Arsenal were not good enough on the day. And we've got to be playing a lot better than that if we want to compete with the likes of City. I mean, it could be, as far as I'm concerned, a 3-horse race this season with us, Liverpool, Man City, although Tottenham are top, as we're speaking at the moment. But, come on, they're not going to be there for much longer. So, yeah, you can say Chelsea did get a little bit of luck, but at the same time, we got luck from the Sanchez mistake. So you can't really have it both ways, although the penalty was extremely harsh on Saliba. There's nothing he could have done. Now, by the letter of the law, it is a penalty. But we all know the rules are bullshit. For real. What is Saliba supposed to do in that situation as he's going up for an aerial duel? He ain't a penguin. He can't jump with his hands by his side. And if you actually rewatch the replay, Mudrik's arm is also out wide. as he's going up for the header. So there's not a lot he could have done there to prevent giving away a penalty. The second goal, I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how Chelsea fans want to dress it up and, you know, act like Mudryk is, generational Ukrainian name or whatever, right? That was a cross. Just let's clear that up. It was a cross. And you know what? At first, I was blaming Raya for that goal because of his positioning. But it's not just him. Like, come on, right? It was, for a start, Martin Odegaard giving away the ball.
Yeah.
Right? And here's another one that I forgot to mention, right? I'm going to go straight to him because he's the captain of Arsenal Football Club. And this is not the first time, Josh. It's happened numerous times in big away games. And you know what? Maybe we have to start looking at his captaincy role at Arsenal Football Club. I'm not saying, you know, strip him or anything because he hasn't discriminated the club or anything. But I feel like for his own sake, in his big away games, he can't lead and create at the same time. And let's be totally honest, right? Yes, he's scored more than any other creative midfielder in the Premier League, if I'm correct in saying that. But 2 of them were penalties, and 1 was from open play. So he scored 1 goal from open play all season, which was Man United. So, look, I'm not saying I want him gone or anything and, you know, deported out of the country, whatever. I just want to see a little bit more from him. And if I'm being totally frank, I don't think he was that great last season. Sorry, at the start of last season, before you go insane, right? I don't think he started last season very well. So, yeah, I mean, it took him around November for him to really, like, get going.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he had an insane purple patch after the World Cup where he was scoring, assisting constantly. But if you're getting subbed off in big games as the captain of Arsenal Football Club, then there's a problem, right?
That's true.
I mean, at the moment, who's doing more in terms of leadership, Declan Rice or Martin Odegaard?
Oh, Declan Rice, 100% in my opinion.
Because you hand the captain's armband to someone who's going to turn up every single week, right? Produce that leadership as well. Is Odegaard doing it every week? Not really. Is Declan Rice doing it every week or however? Yes, he is. So I think whether that's next season or if this trend continues, then you've got to hand the captain's armband. You've got to do the right thing. And I didn't like the way Arsenal fans were treating David Raya in that game, by the way. Channel Ramsdale #1, blah, blah, blah. What is that going to do to his confidence? What happened with backing the team? I don't care who you are, but if you play for Arsenal Football Club, I will back you. If Kai Havertz plays for Arsenal Football Club, whether you rate him or not, then I will back him. Right? I'm sorry, but this partly comes down to the manager. Because this was his situation. Bringing in David Raya for a start, and then bringing him in too soon. This is like, come on, Arteta's fault as well. It's not just David Raya's fault, all right? Yes, people can say he could have done better with the goal, but you can tell that guy was prepared to catch the football from a cross, all right? Mudryk, as I said, was going to whip that back post. And we all know that is Raya's strength. He can catch from crosses, right? He was prepared to catch that cross. And then at the last minute, loops over him. Like, come on, right? I'm going to say this now. If Kai Havertz put in the performance that Odegaard put in on Saturday, every single person would be crucifying him.
Of course.
So you've got to look at Odegaard, man.
Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't matter if he came from Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I don't care. If you play crap, then you get crap ratings, crap, criticism, whatever. It's just really boils my piss, man, that a lot of the players who aren't good enough for Arsenal Football Club but play well, yeah, it's only a one-off. Like, they're still not good enough. But whenever, the senior players that are good enough for Arsenal Football Club play poor, they get a free pass. Like, come on, it's not good enough, man. In terms of, again, the performance, we did get away with it. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but bloody Conor Gallagher was showing more heart out there than Odegaard. I mean,
yeah,
Odegaard is known for working hard because I expect him to. He's the captain, but on Saturday, he just didn't. Like, I don't know what was going on. And, yes, I will mention VAR. I'm not saying it would have been a turn of events. All right. I'm not saying we got robbed, but my word, it is utter dog crap. All right.
Yeah, but we say this every single week, Rory, man. We say it every single week.
I know. I'm bored of it.
Yeah.
Right. And apparently, I'm reading off Twitter now that we're set to receive another apology from the PGMOL.
Oh my God.
Because we didn't get awarded a penalty when Jesus got clattered in the box. Now, can I just ask this question, all right? Why does goalkeepers always get the benefit of the doubt every time?
Yeah,
right?
you saw Onana as well.
Whenever they go up for a header and they catch the opposition, then they get done for it. Free kick.
Yeah.
What is it with goalkeepers nowadays? Right? What is the difference between that challenge and Onana's challenge against Wolves? The guy's completely clattered him. And if that was Harry Kane, yeah, we all know the end result. And you saw how quickly, right, that ref went to VAR, checked it, then gave the penalty to Chelsea. In comparison to the one where Jesus got bloody clattered by Sanchez. Like, come on. Right, and also, can I just quickly read this out before you get on to...
Yeah, go on, man. Go on.
It is also believed VAR got too involved with the penalty decision as the on-field officials deemed Saliba to be too close to Mudryk even during replays. What a shambles. Honestly, if they're going on about Jesus was in between two Chelsea players as the collision was happening, then Saliba was going up for a challenge to win the bloody football, for God's sake. And, Chelsea, I guess, got a stroke of luck because it came off his hand. There was no way that was going in as well. That was going wide.
Right? It was. Yeah, you could say that, yeah.
Yeah, before anyone goes on about, Romero, that was going into the back of the net. That one wasn't. That was going bloody wide.
Yeah.
Right? And people going about, he's going for the ball. No. Well, if I kick someone in the bollocks, at least I was trying to get the ball. No pun intended, but, like, come on. It's an absolute shambles. And I'm sick to death of it. I really am. But that wasn't because of the reason why we drew the game.
Yeah.
Right. We were just awful from minute 1 to 90, but I had to get that off my chest because it's happened every single week.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
No, man. You made some great points there. 100. Yeah, I agree with a lot you said, but I'm going to come to Thomas now. Thomas, what did you make of that performance from Arsenal? And overall, do you think it was a disappointing result in your opinion?
Yeah, definitely. I thought it was an interesting game for me, even as an Arsenal fan, just watching it over from a neutral point of view as well. It was an interesting one. I think Chelsea completely nullified us, especially in an attacking sense, from the first minute in that first half. And to be honest, I mean, obviously they haven't still got one of the strongest teams in the league, but under Pochettino, I think over the next few months, we can see that them climb the table. But even still, I obviously wanted to go to Stamford Bridge and come away with the 3 points. And so 1 point is disappointing. Considering the context, obviously it was good to show that, we've got the courage, we've got the spirit in the second half to go and attack and to get the point in the end. And there was a couple of chances where we could have even won it in those final few minutes. But to be in that position in the first place where we were 2-0 down, at the 50th minute mark, it's not good enough. But, as I say, to be 2-0 down at Stamford Bridge and to come back and draw 2-2, even when we're performing really badly on days like that, the fact we can still come back to get a draw shows how far we've come on games, maybe 2 or 3 seasons ago, we'd be in that position. We would have given up by that point and the players would have let the result at that point get to them. And we would have gone on to lose the game 3 or 4-0. So, at least we're showing some courage and some spirit, but still not good enough at all. In terms of some of the individual player performances, I agree with Rory that Odegaard, he's done it a few times in big games this season, the 2-2 draw of Tottenham as well. He didn't show up again. He was almost invisible on the pitch. I've watched some clips back of the game as well. And, he's got the ball in good positions and all of a sudden he's passing backwards. And I really don't understand it because now teams are understanding how much of a threat Saka is in there, putting 2 or 3 men on him. Odegaard is now getting more space when he's on the ball, and yet he's not doing anything with it. And I don't know if that's because he's become captain and he feels he's got added responsibilities or, whether he's just lost something at the beginning of the season. But it seems that spark that we saw, like Rory says, after the World Cup has all of a sudden disappeared and he's becoming a more reserved player, which, is very disappointing to see. However, one person or 2 people rather who I was happy with, obviously, first of all, Declan Rice, the finish of that goal. I mean, watching the game on the TV at first, it didn't look like it was too complicated, but I saw an angle from behind the goal and the way he, had to curve it around Fernandes and into the back of the net.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic finish, and that's what his 3rd or 4th man of the match performance already at Arsenal this season. So fair play to him, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see him as captain over the next few weeks. Martinelli as well, I think he done well again. His work rate is absolutely incredible. The way, he gives away the ball, he'll sprint the whole length of the pitch to go and get it back. So fair play to him too. But yeah, no, overall, a pretty disappointing result.
Yeah, once again, man, you made some great points in there. Let me quickly come to Seb about the game as well. Seb, mate, obviously, I know you was disappointed when you came on my fan reaction, but just quickly give your overall of the game, our performance-wise, and what do you make of it, mate?
Really, really poor performance. It really was, especially that first half. Deary me. The players just looked sluggish. They just looked slow. There was no attacking threat. There was no nothing. And yes, I always thought this was going to be a difficult game. I never went into this game overconfident. But I still did expect to win that, especially when I saw that lineup. I thought, come on, we've got to be beating that Chelsea team. And Chelsea did actually play well in parts, but I didn't think they were anything special. I still saw a lot of flaws in that team that we should have really exploited, but we just never did. And to be honest with you, it went from a Robert Sanchez mistake in that second half for us to really actually wake up. It was that did it. Because I'm just like, this is a London derby. Doesn't matter how poor or what position Chelsea are in. This is always a big game. They're always going to up it for this. They don't like us. We don't like them. And plus, they come with a back of 3 wins in a row in all competitions. So they're going to want a point to prove. But also, we need to prove our point. Just after beating Man City and show everyone why we are in this title race. But I just didn't see that. And I do give credit to the comeback. I will give credit for that. It's a spirited fight back. It's not an incredible comeback, but it's a spirited fight back. Because, yeah, to go 2-0 down and claw it back to 2-2 against a team like Chelsea away at Stamford Bridge, on the context of things, isn't a bad result. And we have to take the point and we move, which it isn't. Which it isn't. But you have to be really playing well, and you really have to show that you wanted it, because I thought Chelsea showed that they wanted it more.
Yeah.
They really did, and He was really, really disappointing, and I agree with both Rory and Thomas about Odegaard. He ghosted again, went missing. Can't keep doing this. You're the club captain. Everyone looks at you. You're the man really meant to get it, to drive us on and stare us on, especially when we're behind. Never did it. It was Declan Rice that was doing it. And the team selection. Now, the team was spot on, bar Jorginho.
Yeah, agreed.
You got to fit Thomas Partey on the bench. Why wasn't he playing? And if you're going to take off
He didn't
Zinchenko...
even come on.
Yeah, he didn't even come off the bench.
No, he didn't come on. And even if you're going to take off Zinchenko at half-time, which was the right call because he was having a shocker, Jorginho wasn't playing any better, and neither were some other players. Why don't you change a few things at half-time? And fair play, he did eventually sort it out in the second half when he brought on Trossard. I even thought Smith Rowe did all right when he came on. And Kai Havertz, to some extent, played all right.
Yeah.
So, to be fair, I do give credit for that. But also, you've got to be managing that game better. You really have to be. And that means pick your strongest 11 when you've got everyone available. There's no putting our eggs into one basket. We can't do this year. We did it last year. We saw what happened.
Exactly.
In the end, it came back to bite us, and that's what cost us the league. We need momentum. We need rhythm. And it really did look like those players were still at the international break. It really did feel like that, especially at times in the first half.
Yeah.
It was slow, sluggish, and poor. And Chelsea weren't doing anything spectacular. They were playing all right, but I'm like, come on. We should be going there. And we should actually be going there, picking up the points. And don't get me wrong, I felt much worse when we drew with Fulham and Tottenham. I feel much worse because Fulham we should be beating, especially at home. Tottenham, it's a derby. It's a derby, and you always need to beat them, especially at home. But Chelsea away, still, you're supposed to be doing better than that. But you can understand getting away with a point. But if we carry on like this, we will eventually lose matches. We will eventually get caught out.
Because Seb, the performances they haven't been that good, have they, this season compared to last season?
No,
I say only 2 games, the likes of maybe Bournemouth and PSV. They're only 2 games. I say, yeah, we actually battered the team.
I agree.
Performance-wise,
I agree. Because we need to actually be seeing something, and all I hope is this means that because we're not quite clicked into gear, we really kick into gear come December, the new year. And then we go on this long run, and then we eventually do go on and win. I really hope that they're saving that for that.
Yeah.
The thing is, we can't keep waiting. We need to see something sooner rather than later. A performance. That's what we need to be seeing. At the moment, I'm just not seeing. We're just not seeing it, and it does show a little bit that we've gone backwards from last season. And I know we haven't lost. And the whole context of things are still plenty to be positive about because we played United, City, Tottenham, Chelsea, and we've not lost. And that is a positive. That is. But at the same time, we're not top of this league.
nah.
We should be top of this league, and we're just not.
Yeah, 100% agree with you, Seb, as always, man. Well, I'm going to move on. We're going to talk about this whole goalkeeper situation, right? Because obviously, Rory touched a little bit on it with when, our fans were at the game. I think we was 2-0 down at the time, weren't we, Rory? And they started singing Ramsdale's name.
Unbelievable.
This whole goalkeeper situation. I'll start with Thomas for this one. What's your thoughts on, obviously, firstly, Lowe's fans singing Ramsdale's name while rising goal? And also, where do you stand with the whole goalkeeper situation? Like, is there a goalkeeper who you think is better than who you like prefer, or are you just sort of like neutral with it?
Yeah, first of all, I think the fans singing Aaron Ramsdale's name was ridiculous, to be honest. I mean, our away fans have been some of the best away fans in the league, if not the best away fans in the league the past couple of years under Mikel Arteta. But to do that, especially In a game with the magnitude Chelsea away, it's a massive fixture. You've got to be backing every single player out there, even if they made a couple of mistakes. You have to still be backing that player. And I didn't hear anyone chanting maybe another midfielder's name because Odegaard didn't turn up. But of course, it's Raya, it's the new goalkeeper, and it's a horrible situation.
Sorry, one thing. Remember, sorry to jump in there.
That's all right.
Remember when Jorginho made that mistake against Tottenham?
Yeah.
What were we chanting afterwards? We were singing his name.
Yeah.
So it just tells you that we can do it.
Also, remember when Saliba scored an own goal last season?
Yeah. Exactly.
Was anyone,
Exactly. I think
it was Fulham at home last season as well. I was there. I think it was a Gabriel mistake, which when they went 1-0 up, and I was singing Gabriel's name. We obviously turned that game around in 1-2-1. So you've got to back the players, and I think seeing Aaron Ramsdale's name was not just an annoying or a bad thing, but it's also quite upsetting. You got to feel for David Raya, and also bringing him into the club. Him and Ramsdale. This situation is really not something that we need as a team going for the title. You've had to have good squad depth if you want to go and win some of the biggest competitions in the world, the Premier League, the Champions League. And so, it's such a difficult one. For me, do I prefer one over the other? They've both got their individual strengths and weaknesses. Maybe, I've seen some fans suggesting that we have one keeper in the Champions League and one for the Premier League, but it feels that both are too good to just be kept for one competition. And if you're in that situation, we all saw what happened with Martinez and when we had Martinez and Leno, was it, the other season? And obviously Martinez ended up leaving, and that we don't want happening with either Ramsdale or Raya. So do I prefer a goalkeeper? I love Ramsdale ever since he stepped foot in the door at Arsenal. But obviously, I also really do welcome Raya. And yes, he's made a couple of mistakes. And I'd like to see Ramsdale back in goal for tomorrow's Champions League game. But I don't think that's it for him at Arsenal. We got to give him chances. And, I reckon he'll may even play tomorrow. Arteta will give him another go.
Yeah, facts, man. What about you, Rory, man? What's your whole thoughts on the goal? Obviously, I know you touched on it a minute ago, but this whole goalkeeper situation, man. It's like, for me, when we first signed David Raya, I was like, it came out of the blue, didn't it? I don't think many fans really expected for us to go for another goalkeeper because of how well Ramsdale was last season. And I get he made a few mistakes like the Southampton game, but he also saved us many times. I remember that Liverpool game in particular, where that Salah shot he saved against Kanai as well. So, what's your thoughts on obviously the fans sitting in Ramsdale's name when rising goal and all that stuff, man?
You know what? All I can say is it's just embarrassing, man.
Yeah.
Like, what happened again with backing the team? It's just, for me, I don't think Raya has done as bad as people make out to be. I mean, yes, I know, I get it. I have criticised Raya for a lot of the stuff he has done over recent games. Right? Put it that way. I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? And don't get me wrong, as well, there's a lot more pressure on Arsenal than there is at bloody Brentford, that's for sure, all due respect. But I feel like the problem with him, he loves to play out short. And whenever he does, he just plays a blind pass, doesn't he? Hospital passes all over the shop. That's the issue with him. But I feel like people always rave on about William Saliba and the fact he is so important playing out from the back. And I'm not willing to argue. But I think people are also failing to realise Partey is also vital for playing out from the back because he always comes short from midfield. And then, of course, we recycle, play it to Saliba, we play out from the back. So I feel like Partey definitely needs to come back into this team. I mean, Declan Rice, although he is that number 6, he doesn't come short often, right? Of course, he wants to get involved more. He wants to lead the team's press a lot more than CDM usually does. So I feel like with Partey coming in, hopefully tomorrow, we would maybe see a different, because at the moment we're seeing long ball after long ball, and maybe it is Tony tax, because obviously whenever Raya had to go long at Brentford, he had Tony up there who had the license to bully defenders, and of course he has the finishing ability. We don't have that.
No.
So therefore he had to play diagonal passes towards either Saka, Martinelli, although Saka, Martinelli and Jesus have not played together a lot so far this season, because two of them have been injured. So look, as I said, I don't again entirely blame him for the Chelsea second goal, because we shouldn't be losing the ball in that position in the first place. And as I said, he was preparing to catch the ball from a cross, right? So, look, the only proper blunder he made in that Chelsea game, I feel like, was when he played it out from the back, and, it ended up with Cole Palmer, and luckily he somewhat redeemed himself in that way. But, look, the way I stand with this, if we're willing to rotate two goalkeepers, so one after the other, and, we see some sort of rotation going on, then I'm fine with it. But if Raya is our permanent number one, which is the likelihood anyway, then I'm not too sure whether I'm fond with that. I've got to be totally honest, because Raya isn't really, an upgrade on Ramsdale. Let's put it that way. I don't feel like we needed a new goalkeeper, although I don't think Turner did a whole lot at Arsenal. But look, Raya's a good goalkeeper. It's just I feel like he definitely needs someone up top that can obviously hold the ball down and win flick-ons and that, because at the moment, if he was going to go long to our centre forward, it would have to be pinpoint accuracy, because Nketiah, Jesus, they can't win headers. If they're up against 6'4" centre halves, then what are they supposed to do? It's just, I don't know. It's a weird one. I don't agree with, Arsenal fans chanting Ramsdale's name when we are 2-0 down, obviously. As I said, it's embarrassing. Great 1-0 Tottenham.
Yeah, Scum scored. Fuck.
But at the same time, as I said, I do blame Arteta in some ways, because he put himself in this situation by playing Raya too soon. And look, hopefully, when Thomas Partey eventually comes back into the team, maybe we will see, an improvement in Raya's short passing and the way we do play out from the back. But at the moment, he is struggling for confidence, and that's not going to do him any better with them chants that he heard from Arsenal fans. Obviously, he couldn't have done anything about the penalty. I'll let him off with that. Obviously, the Mudryk's second goal, I've got to be honest, I did actually mention the fact, he was at fault, but when you rewatch it, he's looking for a cross, so you can't throw all the blame on him. That's all I'm going to say. And also the fact that Saliba, whenever he makes a mistake, everyone backs him, because again, he's one of our most important players, right? As I said last season, like when he made a mistake, was it the own goal against Leicester? No one was calling for his head. Like, no one wanted Rob Holding to replace him, did they? And eventually he did, and then we saw the bloody consequences. So, look, at the moment, I don't mind seeing Raya, as long as, you know, we're rotating. If Ramsdale was going to play in one of the games this week against Sheffield United and Sevilla, then yeah, I'm cool with that, because it shows that the manager is still willing to rotate. But if Raya is actually our permanent number one and we're not willing to, you know, give Ramsdale any chances whatsoever, then all of this, oh, we've got 2 quality goalkeepers now, like, this is going to be a right selection headache for Arteta, just goes to waste, because, you know, Raya's our number one. So, I don't know. It's a difficult. I'm not one of them fans who obviously abuses their players. Obviously, you know, it's just the way the cookie crumbles, man. I mean, you've got to throw criticism where it's due, but saying that, I don't entirely blame Raya for his start, because I'm pretty sure he wasn't expecting to be thrown into the deep end against Everton. And I know we won, and he didn't have a whole lot to do, but as I said, he got thrown in too soon. Ramsdale wasn't making any mistakes, and if we, you know, if we are saying Arteta is this ruthless dude that we've been banging on about, then obviously he rotates the goalkeepers and actually provides, you know, competition, right? But if he doesn't, then he's not.
Yeah.
Because not last season, the season before, when Leno was number one and Ramsdale took place, then obviously Ramsdale continued to be number one. And to be fair, Leno didn't really have a lot of opportunities to prove himself other than Villa away from home.
Yeah.
This could be the same situation if Raya is the permanent number one. And I don't know, it's a tight one. I don't obviously want to call out my players and say, "Oh, you get out," blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know, thank God he's on loan. People will fail to realise that if he does play a certain amount of games, the deal does become permanent. And I think he's still a really good goalkeeper. It's just, I feel like we're putting him under sacks of pressure at the moment. And you are at Arsenal Football Club at the end of the day, so you'll have to deal with it. And don't act like Ramsdale wasn't making a couple of iffy moments, you know, last season. Think back to Southampton at home. I was at that game. Bloody hell. I didn't even have any time to bloody sit down. I didn't have any time to blink, for fuck's sake, before they scored. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just, for me, if Raya doesn't become permanent this summer and we somehow end up dropping him completely from the 11, and then Ramsdale, whenever he has a bad game, Raya then comes in, Raya puts in a stinker, then we're going to have to buy a new goalkeeper then, aren't we? Because you don't know with this Arteta, Donny, right? You just can't predict him whatsoever.
I mean, AFC always made a good point. He said David Raya is the 7th goalkeeper spelled on Arteta. So we've had he's had a lot of goalkeepers. He's been.
Yeah, I don't think we needed Raya. Again, it's not his fault that we bought him for a start and the fact we played him. Obviously, everyone's going to want to play, right? If the manager comes up to you and say, "Yo, do you want to play?" That player's not going to obviously turn around and say, "Nah, don't want to play," right? He's so much better than me. Of course, because you're going to want to prove yourself, right? All goalkeepers make mistakes, right? All I'm saying is, I feel like Ramsdale needs to, you know, get rotated a lot more in this team than he has been recently, or else we're going to have this same argument week in, week out, aren't we? It's just, it is annoying. It really is. And another game as well last season against West Ham, Ramsdale let one in his near post. So there's been games where Ramsdale has made mistakes, but again, everyone lets him off the hook. But the moment Raya does something, bloody Ramsdale, he has to come back in. I mean, another thing as well, like, no one wanted Turner to be number one, did they? When Ramsdale was making their mistakes.
Yeah.
That's just hit the top of my head. Like, come on now. Raya's only played a couple of games. And, you know, if he's like this for the course of the season, then, yeah, you can say otherwise. But, come on, you can't, you know, go too harsh on him after something that he couldn't really do a lot about. So...
Yeah. No, I'm going to come to Seb about this as well, because you did make a good point in there, Rory, about obviously when we had Leno, and I know, Seb, you was a massive fan of Leno, right? Obviously, Amy Martinez and Leno, you know, they were sort of battling now, and then it sort of got to the stage where we got rid of Amy Martinez, and it was Ramsdale who took Leno's spot after the first 3 games of the season. Could you see a similar thing happen with Raya, sort of taking over Ramsdale now?
Potentially, yes. And to be honest with you, I think he is Arteta's number one now. I really do. And it will be clear when he plays tomorrow night, because I bet you Raya will start tomorrow night. I think that will be the indication that he is the number one. And I personally think Ramsdale should come back in for this PSV game. Oh, sorry, for this Seville game. But I don't think it's going to happen. And you can tell the manager's got a lot of faith in him with the way. Did you see after the way he backed him against Man City, even when he was under pressure and he nearly conceded that goal from Alvarez? And there's a comment in there that Arteta wanted Raya before we signed Ramsdale, and that is actually true. We wanted him when Emi Martinez left. That is actually very true. He's right. So I think Arteta's got his number one now. And do I think it's much of an upgrade? No. Do I think Raya is a good keeper? Yes. I think he's a very good keeper. But if you want to replace Ramsdale, because Ramsdale is a very good keeper, you really want an upgrade. And I don't think Raya is that much of an upgrade. I think he's too similar. And Ramsdale's ball playing ability is better, far better. But I also think Raya's handling around the box and coming for crosses is better. So both keepers have their flaws and have their strengths different to others. But when you replace like someone, you really need to be seeing an upgrade. And I just don't think we're seeing it with Leno. It might be, with Ramsdale. Sorry, with Raya. Sorry. And if you've actually seen the pattern over the years, when we got rid of Lehmann, Almunia came in. When we got rid of Almunia, when we dropped Almunia, Fabianski came in. When we dropped Fabianski, Szczesny came in. When we dropped Szczesny, Ospina came in. When Petr Cech arrived, he replaced Ospina. When Leno came in, he replaced Cech. And now when Ramsdale came in, he replaced Leno. And now it looks like the same things happened here. And I think nowadays it's not easy to get your number one keeper back when you've lost it. So we've seen the pattern. It's not easy. And I honestly think unless Raya gets injured or goes in an awful run of form, continues to make a whole load more bad errors that lead to goals, he's not going to get dropped. And there's no way Arteta will drop him easily. But the thing with Raya is that I think he is playing under a lot of pressure, and he's feeling it. You can tell, because when you come to a club like Arsenal, the standards go up. The fan base is more demanding. So there is that also. Maybe has he been thrown in the deep end like Havertz was? But to be fair, Raya got in after a few games, while Havertz came in straight away. So that's a different debate. But the thing what you've got to be looking at is that Arteta's also told Raya, don't go long. You have to go short, even when you're under pressure. He doesn't like keepers going long, which, again, this is a problem, and this is something that he's questioned, that he's put himself under when he didn't need to do so. And when we signed Raya, I was not against it at all. I was for it because I thought having two good keepers is a good thing. Was a good thing. But when you've created this situation, when you've actually dropped someone, and then someone you've come in isn't at the moment performing quite to the standards that you want and that we need, and that Ramsdale can do, then it's you that question that's got to answer that. It's you that's got to explain that. Look, I'm a massive fan of Leno, and I'm not going to turn this into like, I'm not going to bring his name up and turn this all into that. But
yeah,
to be fair, when Leno was dropped, when Ramsdale was playing, he was performing. He really was on top of his game, performing. And you could see he was playing out of the back really well. You could actually tell, at least you actually saw, Ramsdale never put a foot wrong and was playing. But Raya hasn't quite done that. And his shot stopping, I don't think has been bad, but it's his kicking. Because you've seen, again, after he conceded that goal from Madrid, he played it out to Palmer. And fortunately, he got back into the right position to quickly deal with it to make up for it. Which is fair enough. When you make a mistake, you make up for it straight away, and it stops it from going in the goal. Fair enough. But it's something you didn't need to do in the first place. You really didn't. But who's also telling him these instructions? Is it him? Is it the manager? Who's also telling them? Or is it the coach? Because I've not seen Raya play one ball long. I've either seen him play it short, or I've even seen him play it out. Yeah.
You say that, but I think the fans really are realising it as well. I mean, that first half against Man City, I was behind the goal where Arsenal were defending, and everyone around me, every time Raya got on the ball, you could feel everyone was feeling tense, everyone was nervous, and people were shouting at him, get it out, go long, go long. And, that probably has an impact on how he's going to play as well. He did go long eventually a couple of times after he had a lot of pressure put on him. And, whether that was down to the fans or not, but I think, the fans in the stadium have a lot of impact on what he does as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, agreed.
100%. I think you're right there. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And in terms of that goal he conceded from Madrid, I was actually critical of him with his positioning. Just like I was with Ramsdale, with his positioning against Fulham. I was critical of that. And I was even critical of Ramsdale when he got lobbed from the halfway line against Sporting. I was critical of that. I do get critical when these keepers get lobbed from getting out of position, because I think that is their fault for that. And then after we do that, and to hear those fans singing Aaron Ramsdale's name, I'm sorry. That's something you're not supposed to do. Definitely not. You're meant to get behind your players. Especially when I just mentioned, look how quickly you got behind Jorginho when he made that mistake against Tottenham. And most of his fan base didn't want him and didn't want Jorginho anywhere near this club. Didn't want him.
Yeah.
So it shows that you can do it. They can do it for the worst of times. So you got to keep doing it. For the worst of players, keep doing it. Get behind your players. Back them. Yeah. And I was at that ground when we slated Xhaka when he went off that pitch against Palace. Let's be honest. Fans played a part of that as well. It wasn't just Xhaka. It was the fans as well. We've got to start backing our players, because we want to go for the title. So we've got to get behind our players. We've got to come together as a fan base. We've got to play our part in that as well. As much as the players do, as much as the manager does, and as much as the coaching staff does, as much as the board does, as much as the owner does, as much as the whole club does. If we want to go to this title, we have to back and get behind and support our players. And I won't necessarily be disappointed if Raya does get dropped and does keep his place. I won't, because I still have faith in him, and I do think he's a good keeper. But I just think Ramsdale just should come back into the side, maybe for the Champions League games. Let him have his opportunity again and let him just show what he can do, because I'm sure he's going to be motivated now that he knows. Now there's questions. Now there's pressure. Now there's competition.
100%.
Manager's going to do that. And the thing is, with his manager, he better get this right at the end of the day, because if he doesn't, then it's all going to come back on him.
Yeah.
I'll say again, like I said, I was for the signing when we signed Raya, even though I didn't think it was a position we needed. I was all for it. But you want it to be an upgrade. And at the moment, it's not really much of an upgrade. I think it's just really a sideways step. That's not what you need.
Yeah, Seb.
Situation.
Yeah, mate, you make some great points. 100% agree with a lot you said there. I'll quickly ask this question. Can you tell me who the Arsenal goalkeeping coach? I'm pretty sure it's a Brentford one, isn't it?
He used to be at Brentford.
Yeah, there you go then.
Yeah, that was why he was driving the Raya deal, and he was even there when we were linked with him in the first place, and that was what was pushing it. And we wanted Raya instead of, but we couldn't get the deal done because Brentford weren't willing to sell. And then we ended up getting Runnison. Best said about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, guys, we're gonna move on to obviously the game tomorrow quickly. Sevilla away. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a very tough game. I think number one, the atmosphere is gonna be very hostile. I think we saw that what it was like when we played against a team like Lens. You know, atmosphere is insane. They was really up for it, of course. I think it'll be similar to when we go to Sevilla tomorrow. I think they got a new manager. He was a Uruguay manager in the World Cup, and his first game they drew with Real Madrid 1-1. They got some good players as well, like obviously the veteran Sergio Ramos. They got El Nesri up front. They got Lucas Ocampos, former Tottenham player Eric Lamela. So yeah, I think it's be a very tough game. I'm going to start with. I'm going to come to Rory first, mate. What's your thoughts about going into this game? You know, how you feeling? Are you confident? And also, like your lineup, what you like to see Arteta do, and how you like to see Arteta set up, in your opinion?
Well, he's got to get the tactics right first. That's for sure. Lineup has got to be spot on. It's as simple as that. It is going to be a tough game, although Sevilla always qualify for the Europa League via the Champions League. So, look, it could go both ways, although we should be winning this game on paper. And if we were going to draw this game or lose, then it's not looking good. I think we will have a right to get worried because we'll only have, 4 games left until, we have an opportunity to top the group, really. And, even if we qualify but finish second, like, come on, it's embarrassing because that is a Europa League group. But I'm not going to talk negative on here. I am going to try and keep my optimism levels high because I think we will bounce back. I don't think Arteta was necessarily happy with the performance either on Saturday. So hopefully these lot do come out with an angry response. In terms of the lineup, I mean, you've got to go full strength, haven't you? Especially when we've got Sheffield United at the weekend. All due respect, but I think we will beat Sheffield United. Do we play Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah, Saturday.
Yes, Saturday. So I think we will beat Sheffield United, and I wouldn't say rotate, but throw some players in that maybe haven't got a lot of opportunities, and players that we want to see as well, like Smith Rowe and Nelson, instead of playing players who are underperforming at the moment. Players like Odegaard. Again, this is a game where he's got to step up. If he doesn't, then I don't know. Questions have to be asked. But in terms of the lineup, it's difficult. I mean, I wouldn't complain if Raya is starting tomorrow. I have been hearing that Arteta isn't willing to drop Raya yet, and he's in contention to start tomorrow. So I wouldn't be too upset if Raya starts tomorrow, if it means Ramsdale is going to then fight for his place on Saturday against Sheffield United, against his old club. So, yeah, that's interesting. I would probably go Ramsdale because he's the one that actually got us in the Champions League in the first place, and surely you would reward him, right, for a place in the starting 11, but it's not going to happen. Right back Ben White, centre half Saliba Gabriel, left back Zinchenko, another player who's actually got a lot of grief recently because, of course, of his defensive abilities. Sorry. I feel like this will be a good game for him because I feel like we will dominate the ball a lot. It's just the case that maybe if he's up against a pacey winger, someone like Raheem Sterling or Doku, whoever, then I don't think he should play. Maybe Tomiyasu is the go-to at left back if we're up against a pacey right winger, because not only he can't defend, he's not exactly quick either. So
Yeah.
I think we'll get away with Zinchenko playing at left back. Midfield, Partey, Rice and Odegaard. I mean, come on, you've got to start them three together.
Yeah.
Like,
it's got-
is it
Partey's
really
got
that
to start.
hard?
We can all
Come
see it,
on.
man. I don't know why the manager can't.
I don't know, but surely we end up seeing them three together. Odegaard, of course, as I said, has to step up in this game. Declan Rice, obviously, and then Partey. Front three. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Saka desperately needs minutes because at the moment he's like 30-40% fit. And, you know, you gain fitness by playing games. So I would play Saka in this one. Same with Martinelli on the left. Bring Trossard on as an impact sub because he's much better off the bench, as far as I'm concerned, than Jesus up top. Again, another player is receiving a lot of grief, which I don't know why. Like, come on. That guy had to drop deep. That guy was at bloody left back at one point because he had to cover for Zinchenko.
Yeah.
Right? The service was bloody dog shit. Right? Excuse my language, but it was. So, what are you supposed... What are we expecting him to do? Right? Yes, he drops deep a little bit too much, and people can examine the fact he's not a striker. But these are the same people that were calling out Aubameyang for not tracking back. Right? But whenever Jesus does it, nah, not good enough. Get in the bin. We need a striker. Nah, come on. Like, the disrespect on the likes of Jesus and Zinchenko, like, right now, I don't know, like, where they're... Like, honestly, their heads must be bloody malfunctioning. Really, 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 really winds me up. But, hey, we go along with it, and that is arguably our full-strength team, apart from Ramsdale.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go then. Thomas, how are you feeling about going into this game tomorrow night? Are you confident? And also, what would be your lineup as well?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this game. I think looking at the lineup, a lot of questions are going to be answered. In terms of the Ramsdale-Raya debate, whoever starts tomorrow, I think that is going to answer those questions on who's going to be the long-term number one over the rest of the season. For me personally, though, I'd like to see Ramsdale put in goal. A back four of Tomiyasu, I'd slip him in there. Zinchenko, not a great performance against Chelsea at the weekend. Whether I would put Ben White as a centre-back, potentially, people have been saying. I'd like to also see Saka feature as well. I agree with that, whether he comes off of the bench 70, 60 minutes in or whether he starts. But I would like to see him feature, and if he was to get a goal as well, that would be a really important thing to see. In terms of the game itself, whether I'm confident or not, Sevilla, I just checked, they're 13th in the Liga right now. Yes, they had a good start under their new manager, but they're still not a quality team. We should be beating them easily. And I'm just really hoping that the pressure and that atmosphere doesn't get to us like it did away at Lens. But if we lose this game, it puts us in a pretty bad position. 4 points off of first place team if Lens go on to win. We may even drop down to third if that's a possibility. So it's not great if we lose. However, if we were to win, it then all of a sudden sets us up nicely for November, because if we then go on to win our 2 games in November in the Champions League, we can seal qualification for the next round. So it's a vital game. We have to get the 3 points for it. And I'm looking forward to it. Seville, we drew with them, but we won on penalties in the Emirates Cup. I know it's a friendly, but hoping for a more positive result this time.
Also, two of the games you've just pointed out are actually at home, so we definitely have a better opportunity of qualifying out of them.
Our next Champions League games are at home. Next 2.
Yeah, next 2.
Yeah, we've got 2
Sevilla and
back.
then Lens.
That's all right. Yeah. All right, Seb, coming to you, bro. What's your thoughts going into this game away in Sevilla? Obviously, they got a new manager he got a very good result in his first game. They got some good players as well. I think we've got to watch out for. So yeah, you're confident, and also, what would be your ideal lineup to take them on?
We've got to get a result. We have to get a result because of what happened in that Lens game, which was totally unnecessary, and that was also a total shambles. We have to get a result. If we lose, then we're in big danger now of going out in the group stage, and that will not be acceptable. Because with this group that we saw, no disrespect to those other three teams, we should be topping this group. There is no excuses not to top this group. And it's going to be a tough game, but let's be honest, on paper, Seville are not a better side than us. They're not. I know they have European pedigree, but that's in the Europa League. In the Champions League, they usually go out of the group stages. And yes, it's going to be hard down there. It's going to be very, very hostile with their new manager, and they've got some good players. But we cannot perform anything like how we did against Chelsea or anything like how we did against Lens. Because if we do that, we will lose. The players have just got to step it up. They've got to be on their game from the start and actually put in a top performance like they did against PSV. Came flying out of the blocks. We need to see a similar type of performance like that, because I actually reckon if we go a couple of goals up in the first half, we win that game. Because this thing with Seville, they don't always come back easily. That's what I just want to see. I want to see a ruthless performance, a team flying, and attack. That's what I want to see. And if we do that, we will win this game. But if we play sluggishly and just don't seem to be up for it, don't seem to be on it, we will lose, and then we really will be in danger. Because what we shouldn't need from this group is, from this particular group, we should not be needing to go into that last game away at PSV, which is going to be tough, needing a result to go through. That should not be the case. The reason we've put ourselves in this situation is because the performances have just not been good enough. They just haven't. And it's really now time that we actually start seeing a performance. In terms of the team, yes, I would make a few changes. First of all, we have to go full strong. We cannot do any of this massive changes, chopping and changing, because this is an important game. Very important. This is a vital game. So Thomas Partey comes back into the side ahead of Jorginho. That has to happen. And I agree with Thomas. I think you said this. I will play Tommy Ash instead of Zinchenko.
Yeah.
I'm a massive Zinchenko fan. I love him. But I just think he needs to come out for this game. Just come out from this game. Maybe come on in the second half. Maybe give Tommy Ashley his start. But I think for this game, I'll make that change. I would give Ramsdale his chance, but I highly, highly doubt he's going to do that. So I'll accept that Raya will be in again. I'll accept it. But he has to perform now.
Yeah.
He cannot be doing any silly mistakes, and certainly none that lead to goals. Because if he does, and we end up not winning that game, oh my words, it's not going to look good. It's just not. But this is a game where some certain players need to step up. Odegaard, club captain, you must step up this game. Jesus, he was very poor against Chelsea, and quite likely so been taken off because he was poor. He needs to step up. Saka, I know he's just come back from an injury. You need to step up as well. Use this to get some fitness in. Use this. I think Martinelli's doing all right. And Gabriel and Saliba, I haven't got any problem. And Ben White, I've got no problem with. Even though I thought Ben White had a shocker against Chelsea as well.
I thought he played all right.
But let's be honest, most of the team did.
Yeah.
So these players definitely need to step up. Odegaard especially, Jesus especially. If we're going to get anything out of those games, those two players is key. They perform along with the rest of the team.
Yeah.
But if we turn up and play our game and attack them how we should do, we will win. But I don't want to see anything like what I saw the other night, what I saw against Lens. We do that, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
This is a vital game.
Definitely, man. Definitely. But I want to do quick score predictions, guys. I'm going to go with I reckon it'd be a go fest, you know. I reckon there'd be lots of goals. I said it'd be a tough game. It'd be a hostile atmosphere. But I'm going to go with Arsenal win. I'm going to go 3-2 away win for the Gunners. I think it'd be a very good game. Lots of goals, but we'll get there over the line in the end. Sebs, quick score prediction, mate, for you.
There's no reason why we should not be winning this at least 2-0.
2-0. You're going 2-0, yeah?
You go with I'll back the team. I'll go 2-0. We need this.
Thomas, score prediction?
I'm only going to go 1-0. I think it's going to be another tough game, tough crowd, but I think a goal should get us over the line like it did with City.
Fair enough. Rory, score prediction?
2-1 Arsenal. Another tight contest. I feel like it's going to be a similar situation to what you predicted, Seb. 2-0, and then they score late on, and all of a sudden it's squeaky bum time. Have to defend tight, and it's going to be a shaky ending, but I think we will pull through and get a victory. But I feel like we're going to get the job done in the opening 45. That's what I'm saying. 2-0 up, and then they score late on to get back into it.
Fair enough, guys. So that's that, guys. I want to thank the chat, and also we're going to go through the panel, shout everyone out quickly. Everyone who watched today, let us know your thoughts down below of what we discussed. I'll start at you, Seb. You got any articles coming up?
Yeah, I've got one on the topic we spoke about last week, the best signings from the post-Wenger era. And I'm also going to do the best signings of the Wenger era as well. So I'm just going to really reflect on just the transfers and how things are going. And then hopefully there'll be another one. There's always going to be one based on the recent form very soon. And hopefully I'll be writing about some good results and why we are stood up there and why we can win this league, hopefully.
Yeah, and also they can find you on Instagram, TalkCastFC.
Yeah, TalkCastFC.
How many followers you on now?
Over 21,000 followers.
Man, you're smashing it. You are absolutely smashing
Every
it.
day I'm always posting on there. So,
guys, check the description and you can find it. Literally, the links in the description. If you're not following him already, make sure you follow him. As I said, he does everyday posts. So, Seb, thanks as always, man, for coming on. Thomas, man, where they can shout your channel and where they can find you on social media as well, bro.
Yes, the Football Stadium Show on YouTube and TFSS_YT on other social medias. And also, recently, me and a couple of other people have created a new Arsenal website, blog, if anyone wants to look it up. It's the-clockends.com. Lots of articles going up over the next couple of weeks. And, of course, thank you for inviting me on as usual.
No worries at all, man. You're welcome anytime, guys. Make sure, once again, go to the link in the description. I've put the blue at so you can go straight to his channel. Give him a sub if you haven't already. And Rory, you got anything coming up, bro?
I don't know, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, match reaction will be out on Tuesday for the Sevilla game. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to do previews anymore because I'm just sick to fucking death of YouTube taking them down. So I'm not going to do previews anymore. I may introduce something different midweek here and there. So yeah, but obviously that's not confirmed yet. Maybe I'll start editing some more career mode episodes because I haven't done some in a couple of weeks. So that may be coming out at some point this week. And yeah, that's about it really. Obviously, match reaction as always for Sheffield United game at the weekend. And then, of course, tomorrow I'll be summing up the game against Sevilla. So that's it really, career mode and then match reactions to come. That's all.
No worries, man. There we go, guys. That's for me. Obviously, tomorrow we can be live for the watch along, match reaction, calling show, player ratings, all that stuff, guys. So yeah, until tomorrow, guys, we're out of here. Come on, the Gunners. Let's hope we get all 3 points. Must win tomorrow. And yeah, we're out of here, guys. Cheers.